Most of the people that stand at podiums at education conferences have one thing in common, and I'd say most, I would say 99%. They are actually educational success stories. There are people who enjoyed education, there are people who benefited from the educations they got, and there are people who basically are, in some cases, zealous, but certainly enthusiasts. What's different about Richard Branson and myself, we're here and tell you the same thing. We were educational catastrophes. Both of us left school at 16 without any tangible qualifications whatsoever. Both of us are angry because both of us know we're not dumb, and both of us feel let down by the system. So part of my passion for this last 20 years, working with Ken and others, has been what went wrong? Why was it wrong? How come we fell through the gaps? There's a lovely quote, it's part of the text I was going to offer you, from Albert Einstein, because I think it sums it up beautifully. He said, everybody is a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live out its entire life believing that it is stupid. And I'm afraid that is exactly what happened to Branson, it's exactly what happened to me, and it's what happened to hundreds of thousands and maybe millions of kids in this and other countries. They were fish being judged by their ability to climb trees. As a result, they never even swam. And that was what, for decades and decades and decades, was the besetting problem with education as we know it. People are frightened to change. And it takes a leader like Noel, a leader like Georgina, to take people through that barrier. Voice recognition technology. The idea that we are going to continue over the next 10 years using keyboards is not going to happen. A number of reasons it's not going to happen. One of the reasons is the driver of all of this is the technology companies. Technology companies make no profit on keyboards. Keyboards are a kind of lost leader, if you like. And the technology companies have pretty well decided that the answer is voice recognition. We already have a series of competing systems. Google have just bought their own. Apple have theirs. The Siri system that's on my new iPad, my new iPhone 5, is already 2 generations out of date. Apple have got 2 new generations of voice recognition that they've improved. Things like elocution are going to be an issue. Young people will not be able to sit in front of their computer saying well, they can, but the results can be a bit dull. It will be driven by the technology companies who say, I'm sorry, this is what's available. You want a new computer? This is how it works. You want a new phone? This is how it works. And we're going to have to live with it. Taking things to scale, taking what Noel does to scale is a challenge greater than the one he's already encountered, because you're dealing with skeptics, you're dealing with all sorts of new problems. And it always will scale the benevolence. What we never realised, I think it crept up on us, was the notion that teachers talking to teachers, teachers training teachers, teachers encouraging teachers, teachers sharing resources with teachers. This was a world that frankly was probably at that time beyond us. But suffice to say, between 2011 and 2012, number of resources downloaded has doubled. More importantly, number of resources offered up and uploaded has quadrupled. This is a really, really active phenomenon. This, as I say, is teachers reaching out to teachers having a great idea and sharing it. And so it wasn't something, as I said, we, frankly, any of us, I think, ever realised could happen. But one, just give you an example. One 23-year-old special needs teacher in Wales, Bryony, her name is, has uploaded 144 lesson plans and lesson ideas. Bryony is followed at the moment by over a million teachers in 134 countries. Over a million teachers in 134 countries are taking stuff off the resource that's been created by a 23-year-old in Wales. To me, that speaks volumes for where we can go. And if there's one thing that's going to deal with this problem of digital literacy, it is by encouraging young people to spend their own time, and this is very important, not school time, their own time, that they commit their own time to learning coding and understand the building blocks from which the digital world is built. If you took a doctor from the year 1912 and you placed him in an operating theatre today, there is nothing he could do. Nothing. He could be a brilliant doctor in 1912. He literally could make a cup of tea, wipe a patient's brow, and watch fascinated at what was going on. He might as well be on Starship, nothing. Take a teacher from 1912, and in many subjects, she, but it would be she, could teach in a way that we would recognise as teaching. Now you have to ask yourself the question, what is it that took place in medicine that de-skilled teacher, a doctor or a surgeon, that didn't take place in education that de-skills a teacher? And can we play catch-up? Can we become as skilled as a contemporary surgeon is at what we do? Because bear in mind, we have a new, huge advantage, brain science. We've now, for the last 10 years, been able to look inside people's brains, and I suspect, I won't be around, but I suspect by 2025 we will know so much more about the way the brain absorbs, deals with, and processes information that we will actually be in a position to be far better at what we do.